at the back.
You've got a well.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I'm just going to introduce everyone on the video. Not that anyone needs an introduction, but in case someone's just listening, we have the stars of the film Extraordinary, Maeve Higgins, Will Forte, and the director Mike Ahern. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
I actually had a part in the movie as well, just in case. So I am a star.
I'm sorry.
I was the dust man collector at the start of the film who throws some flowers into the truck.
Oh yeah, that was a great moment.
Erik, do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that part. You had just laid the flowers down. It was a really beautiful scene. And then this character came and took him. It was really hard for me to get past that part, actually. But
I got an IM credit for it.
It's kind of crazy that the last time we all saw each other, March 1st, at the dinner and special release. Whoa, life was so different.
I felt like it was in early February. It feels like so long ago.
That would feel like a long time.
Yeah. It kind of feels like either 2 years ago or 2 months.
That was in February, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you have for dinner that night?
Did I have dinner that night?
What did you have?
I had a burger.
I had a burger as well.
Yeah.
I think I had some chicken. I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I was just so I was on so many quaaludes because I'm in a movie, and so I was really out of it. Do you remember how I was acting, screaming at the waiter and falling asleep and everything?
That night
Will,
cost
I feel
a
like
lot
Will,
of money.
You were a bit like, hey Maeve, I was a starlet once too. Don't go there. This is getting really dark. Do you remember?
Well, we were on different highs because I was very coked up, if you remember. So
no, I don't remember.
Like the Odd Couple.
Yeah, there were two sides of the dinner.
You kept telling me that everything was possible. You kept screaming like everything is possible.
I can't believe we made it from the dinner to the movie theater. I was shepherding all of you. I had to come find you because I was like, we got to get Will to the green room. Maeve's in there eating up all the papers that she's supposed to be signing. It was a funny night. A lot of escalators, I remember.
You should not have dipped those papers in acid. I mean, hear from them. Don't.
But that is a good point. Anybody who did get one of the Extraordinary posters can now lick it.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You did just drop a little bit on it, so you'll have to lick the whole poster to figure out where it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How have you guys been spending your time for the past, 2 months or month in full quarantine?
I just started. Well, I've done a few different projects, but the day before yesterday, I'm going to watch everything Kevin Costner's ever been in. So I'm on my third film of his today. So it's day 3, and I'm on, what am I watching? Today I'm watching JFK, and that's really good. But I watched Dances with Wolves, and I also I've been reading a lot about Kevin Costner's life and interviews he gave. So that's taking up actually a lot of time because he's been around, he's 64 years old, and he's been really in the movie business for a long time. So if you want to know, I don't want to dominate the conversation with Kevin Costner completism, but I did find out one interesting
Dances with Wolves. That was I remembered really liking.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I haven't seen Dances with Wolves since it came out, but I remember JFK was a very big movie for me because I went on the bus from school, which is a big deal. It takes about 2 hours to go to the movies in Cork, and that was the only movie that fit with the time that I got there. So I went to see JFK, and it had 2 reels, I remember, because it was so long. So they had to change the reel in between, and I thought I was going to miss my bus home. So,
like a lot of his films, that's their defining thing. Like, they're just extremely long.
Yeah.
So at the end of them, you are kind of knocked out. You're like, wow, that was an experience. But just because you've been there for ages. But he did say he wanted to do a second Bodyguard film, and Princess Diana was going to play it. So I presume what it was he was just going to be like fall in love with the woman he was protecting again. But then she really did get killed with her bodyguard. So sadly, she couldn't be in the Bodyguard Part 2. But he
not that brought up such a chortle from you.
Yeah, me too. I was wondering.
I obviously don't think that's funny. But what was funny to me was that he said that Sarah Ferguson, you know, Fergie, she set it up. So he every interview he does, he's like, I just want to say, I really respect Sarah Ferguson because she wanted Princess Diana to be in the Bodyguard Part 2. And the whole time, she didn't even ask for a role for herself, even though she was also princess at that time. So that's what I've been really learning a lot about. And yeah, that's taking up. I mean, I'm glad for quarantine because I wouldn't have time otherwise, because he's got such a extraordinary body of work and everything, like I said, is so long.
But has he took I think he took a bunch of years off, didn't he?
Yeah, it's not clear to me like what he did.
I feel like he went away for a lot of the 2000s. But I
don't know if that was his choice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on Waterworld? Have you watched Waterworld yet?
No, I think that I'm getting to that in June.
He loves water, though. You can tell there.
Have you seen it? I heard that it's like not that good, you know, and he got laughed at. But also, when they were making Dance with Wolves, everyone was like, Kevin Costner is such a crazy loser, and he's spending all his money on a Buffalo movie. But then everyone it turned out really well. So when he was making Waterworld, I think everyone was kind of laughing at him and saying, oh, the mermaids, you know, whatever. But then it turned out badly.
Well, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think that maybe it was because you heard so much.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you went in thinking it wasn't going to be great. And I remember thinking, oh, that wasn't. Is that like there are a lot of movies that deserve to be shit on for not being fun to watch, but I don't know if this. I mean, maybe because it costs so much money. Maybe you know.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner a lot.
I enjoyed it.
Kevin Costner an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But wasn't that what they kept talking about with Titanic when Titanic was about to come out? Is like, oh, it's just like Waterworld. It's way over budget and
they said it's just like the real Titanic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, because it actually sailed on happily to the
but it underperformed. If you compared it later in hindsight to Avatar, it did not do as well as Avatar.
Oh,
I always like to remind people of that.
Yeah, you really have to remember that.
But the other thing that I want to watch is
Yeah, it was doing really well, and people were like, "This is doing so well," and I'm like, "Hang on till his next one."
It's hard for me to enjoy movies.
You're just like the voice of reason.
I really just compare movies how they do business-wise, so it's hard for me to laugh at things. This movie made me laugh.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. I've seen Extraordinary actually twice in quarantine. I've seen it a lot, but like I've watched it twice. I've showed it to people and made sure they saw it.
Oh,
I've had some friends. A lot of friends have been catching it during quarantine, and sending nice notes. It's been fun for people to see it. So I'm happy that people are still getting an opportunity to see it.
Yeah, same over here because it hit Netflix in the UK and Ireland and stuff. So it's been getting lots of nice messages from people who've seen it.
Yeah, it's available everywhere. We should talk about it.
Well, I got a message from a person who said, I was looking for Extraordinary, and in the end I bought it in German, a German dubbed version of it. And I was like, you can just get it on iTunes or on Amazon. Yeah. And then but then it seemed like I was you know, being hard on them for not speaking German. So I wouldn't. So, and I also didn't know what country they were in, but I guess in America you can just buy it.
You can buy it, and you can rent it now as well.
It's actually available everywhere. And if you on Apple TV, there's like a little companion piece that I just watched a couple of days ago. It's like a 20-minute making of the movie. Do you guys remember being a part of that? Or have you seen it?
Yeah. I have seen it.
It's actually very funny. Yeah, it's very good. So I guess we could tell people that if they wanted to go get that, to tune in on Apple TV and watch it. Well, let's just go back just... who said that? Will, you haven't seen it?
No.
All right, I'll send it to you.
I haven't seen the 20-minute...
you have to go check it on Apple TV. I'll send it to you.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Mike, you're half of the directing team, the creative team of this movie. How do you come up with this movie? Like, where did I want to know about the first conversation that you or Enda looked at each other.
Oh my God.
Like, I have an idea.
Oh.
Well, back in 2014, me and Enda were looking for something to write about, and we came across an article on the internet, a clickbait kind of article about a ghost, an old folks' home that was getting haunted by this ghost who was groping the old people. And we thought that might be funny to read, so we clicked on the article, and it had like a little piece. The article was pretty boring, but it had a little piece about the ghost hunters that came and kind of sorted out the problem. And it was like this ghost hunting couple who were married, and she could speak to ghosts, and he would take the ghosts inside him, it said, and she would speak to the ghosts.
Yeah.
And that they basically did this as sort of they had day jobs, that she worked in a bank and he worked like as a truck driver during the day, and then at night they would go and do this. And we were like, how the hell did they meet each other? How did they know they could do this? What is their kind of origin story? And then we just thought it was a very funny premise for a kind of a rom-com, basically. Meet cute. So that was sort of our kind of our inspiration for like our kicking off point. And then we had straight away we thought of Maeve would be brilliant as Rose when we started thinking about it properly. So
Guilty. Turns out they were dead right.
So then we told Maeve we were going to do it with her in mind, and we had no choice basically. And here we are, 6 years later.
My parents are powerful in the Irish, I would say, media, like Hollywood, whatever. My parents are really powerful, so they were like, if you want this film to be funded, put our kids in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also because of my talent, but really because of my family lineage. I was like the Romanovs.
Yeah. What's the 90210 guy called again?
Oh yeah, spelling.
They're like the spellings of Cork.
Oh yeah. You two, or you three had known each other for a while, right? Had you worked together before Extraordinary?
Yeah, Mike's mother used to clean our house.
Is that true?
My mother used to work in their gift wrapping room in their house.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really true?
No.
In the gift wrapping room.
No, I just remember.
He was a seasonal employee.
That's a terrible joke, but it was actually because I remember reading an article about Aaron Spelling, and it had like a map of his mansion, and they had a gift wrapping room, and I always remembered it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I knew about that. That's right. I feel like that was bizarre common knowledge. Yeah. It was, I don't know,
wow.
Part of pop culture.
I'm basically comparable in normal people's day. My mom being Maeve's house.
And Will, how did you come to be involved in the whole movie?
I actually it was right between well, what I thought was going to be between seasons of Last Man on Earth. So I was so tired from going through Last Man on Earth, I just didn't want to do any kind of job. I was just going to go to Ireland for vacation, and then I got this script like 2 weeks before I was going to go to Ireland anyway. I almost didn't do it just because I didn't want anything to take away from me being able to just bum around wherever I wanted in Ireland. But then I read the script and it was so funny. I'm so happy for so many reasons. The script was, I mean, the movie turned out great. I got to meet all these wonderful people. And then the Last Man on Earth didn't even come back. Anyway, so it, you know, it was, I'm just delighted that I did go over and do it. It was such a blast, and these guys were fantastic. And there are 150 other people who aren't on this Skype call that were involved with the movie who were so awesome too.
Did you? Did the characters that both of you play, when you read them, how much of yourselves did you put into those characters, or what was already kind of written for you? I guess, yeah. What did you bring to it, or what was already there?
Requested the Satanist element because that's something that's so personally relevant to me. Or it was just like a normal dude, yeah. So it basically is very close to who I am as a person. I mean, minus the satanic stuff, but just like I basically wasn't doing a whole lot of acting. I was just hamming it up just the teeniest bit. Anyway.
Can you drive in real life, Will?
Oh, I'm an excellent driver.
I imagined you were.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple people on this movie who couldn't drive.
Shut up, Erik.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, so how many people in and making this movie were not able to drive? A couple of them had to be drivers in the movie.
It's hard to remember. You know, like, it's so hard to remember because, like, we've filmed it a couple of years ago, so I can't say for sure who can drive or not. but but I would say that some people can drive.
Yeah, we know well that Claudia can't. Is that right, Maeve?
Yeah, Claudia has no idea how to drive.
Yeah, there were a lot of people driving in this movie.
53 years old. So yeah, poor Claudia.
That's a good bit in the making of Companion Piece, is seeing how you guys shot the driving scenes. I won't give away too much, but it's definitely something I wanted to chat about, is like the unique practical effects and ways that you guys shot this movie. There was a lot more practical effects than VFX in this movie, and I thought that was pretty unique. Have you worked with the cinematographer? I have his name here somewhere, but have you guys worked together before?
James. Yeah, yes. Me and Enda worked with James a lot. We have made, like, we make a lot of TV commercials and stuff like that as well, and we knew James through that. But James has shot lots of amazing movies. He shot that movie Frank, you might have seen, or he shot lots of great Irish films. But he also shot one of our short films previously. But I think the practical thing was just sort of the way our brains are wired. We do that anyway, and we kind of come out of that DIY aesthetic where if you kind of have no money, you use a lot of pieces of string. And I think we love how that looks, and we love we wanted to reference some of that stuff in the movie. Like, there was lots of kind of old horror movies like 13 Ghosts and those kind of movies where stuff floats around the kitchen, or things that are haunted that just take on this like persona, almost like they're on a fishing wire. And there's something kind of funny to us about that. So we wanted to kind of keep that aesthetic across a lot of the movie. And the same with like even the floating girl and stuff. We wanted to work out rigs that we could kind of do as much of it in camera as we could. So we did. So she was like on a shelf in the bedroom. It was sort of like a magic trick. There was no wires or anything. There was nothing to paint out afterwards. She was just on this kind of shelf lying there. And then the camera just moved in a way that you could never see the shelf. So yeah, it was just sort of a kind of a fun thing as well, that we sort of, built into the way we imagined the world to exist.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It was really fun because the first time when like we're sitting around the table and Martin's wife comes back to haunt him, then I didn't realize like what was going to happen. But what happened was all the art crew and all the like props crew and everything was all lying on the ground all over the place with like different fishing lines tied to them. And so they would start like pulling pictures that would spin around the wall, and the dishwasher opened and all the like kitchen cupboards started slamming, and like the whole place was shaking, and the lights were going on and off. Like the sparks had organized for the lights to go on and off. I just assumed that like we'd have to pretend that was happening and that we'd be like, ooh, or whatever. But then it was like actually really, really happening. And then they had to do it again because all of us were like, oh my God, this is actually cool. And like ruined the take or whatever. But it was, yeah, they're super talented. And I think it looks better than if you like fake it afterwards. I think anyway, I don't know what to compare it to because it's like kind of hard to tell if something's fake or not. But I know in Kevin Costner's film Dances with Wolves, what he did was had real buffalo. And I thought that's like something that would happen in one of my films too. Very authentic.
It felt that way. I mean,
Those
like
are
it fit
yeah.
the tone of the movie, the way that you guys did all the effects. I can't
Yeah,
really think of any
Yeah.
actual
He
like
had mechanical buffalo that
really. Wow. I don't
When
want to
they were
go too
getting
far off the
killed.
subject here, but what made you want to watch all of Kevin Costner's filmography? What?
No, I mean no one thing. I think it's just
It was just time.
you know, it's important. It's important to just like pay attention to our elders and to learn from them and put in the time.
You think he's seen Extraordinary, Maeve?
I presume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard from him, but I
I'm
think
gonna
so.
I'm
yeah.
gonna reach out to his people directly after this and just see if
Yeah.
we can get him a screener. Yeah. Can you get
Watch
Just tell him that
Field of Dreams is great.
He's K Costner at Gmail, I think.
Kevin Costner and Gmail? Yeah.
he's Mechanical Buffaloes Not For Me at yahoo.com.
Yeah, all the practical effects, even like in the branch or the toaster outside. So like that was all done with strings and crew just pulling on them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there's still like visual effects stuff that has to happen afterwards. So, you know, when you have a piece of string, it's still there. So you still have to get rid of it. But I think the kind of motivation and the look of it is kind of unique when you do it for real. And also, I think, as Maeve said, it does definitely help the cast when, you know, shit is happening around you, stuff is flying.
Yeah.
Like, for example, when Will was acting at the end, and I guess there's a spoiler here, but when the demon comes at the end, you know, we wanted there to be somebody there for him to act with and for everybody to act with. So we had a guy called Jed who was on a step ladder wearing a big sheet. And we kind of we didn't like have money to do a big motion control guy or motion capture guy, but we had Jed there as sort of like our reference ghost, and then we used him to plan the animation afterwards as well.
Yeah, and also like the theme.
And was that his voice? Oh no.
It was his voice that we used in the movie. Yeah, he was brilliant.
The scenes where I'm walking through the castle with Claudia. And there's the virgin waiting to be sacrificed, and then Claudia makes a walk out of the. So when we go in there, they actually had the young woman up in a harness, and it's it definitely you act differently in this person. And then when I walk back out of the room, the camera follows me out of the room, and she makes that noise. They actually did have the collapsed, exploded woman. But no, there was a cut.
We actually did.
That person was. They did actually have that. That wasn't an effect. They had like a body made of this exploded woman, which was horrifying. Which was I mean, stuff like that actually does make a difference in the performances, I think.
Yeah, I think that was fun to shoot because that was a one. It didn't end up being a one shot in the movie, in the edit in the end, but we shot it all in one go, and because we wanted it to be a one shot, but it was just a bit too long or something, I think, when we got to the edit. But I remember Claudia had to go into that room, and as you left, she would get covered in blood by the makeup crew and then run back out. And then and we would keep the camera rolling, so it was like this big one tracking shot for the whole thing, which was, I think we did it 3 times, and one of them was good.
That was the very first scene that I had to do, so it was terrifying. You know, the entire, because every person has to do their job correctly, and I was still nervous. I didn't know people, so it's easier to memorize your lines after you've been working with people for a while because you just aren't in your head about it. So this is having this on the first day where everything has to be said right, and the cameras, like a lot of the cues are based on where you are because the camera following me around. It was terrifying because you'd get about 3/4 of the way through your scene and you're like, I haven't made a mistake yet. Don't.
Yeah.
It's really scary.
And you, Will, the thing is, when you're nervous, you fart uncontrollably, and you were so nervous that day.
Yeah, when I'm not nervous, they're very controlled farts.
Yeah, we had to ADR that whole scene because it was just so loud.
I thought I caught a few in a couple of those end scenes, but I didn't. I don't know. You don't really think that you're going to hear it in a movie, but I heard it.
Yeah.
No, but everything is real.
Everything is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike, did your guys' past with music videos and commercials kind of inform the decisions to shoot this way and this movie in the ways that you guys did?
Yeah, I think so. I think for us, we didn't go to film school in the traditional sense, so we kind of have always had this attitude of using commercials, especially when we have some money to try out equipment or try out different camera moves, and you get to see what things you like or don't like, or what works well or what works for comedy better, and what lenses you like, and all those kind of things are really fun. And we're both quite nerdy about that, especially Enda, who's not on this call, but he's really nerdy about lenses and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think, we definitely it would definitely influence the way we were thinking about the movie. And I guess by making, the more stuff you make, the more kind of assured, sounds weird, but assured you get about the way you want to make things, and what you don't like, especially, so you you might try something on set then and go, actually, that's not what I want to do, but at least you know that it's wrong for the shot or whatever, Mm-hmm. So I think the more, whether it's with a budget or not, the more things that you just mess with and play with, and when we get to actually make the movie, then we kind of know what we don't want to do, which is really important, I think.
Yeah, I feel like between the practical effects and the castle that you guys shot in was probably pretty immersive for the talent and you guys to be in character. I don't know. Can you talk about the castle a little bit? Was it haunted or?
The castle was. We were there for about 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is about 10 days filming, and I think most of the first week was kind of just all of Will's stuff, where it was kind of hanging out and living with Claudia and doing incantations and that sort of kind of stuff. And then most of the second week was the big end scene where the demon happens and all the crazy stuff happens at the end when Christian is about to sacrifice the Virgin. So yeah, we loved being there, to be honest. From a filming point of view, we had a lot of freedom. It was kind of nice to be in one place for a long time. And that location, we were, you kind of just settle in and you're going to be there for 10 days rather than moving every day, which we did a lot. So yeah, it was cool. And yeah, I think it's meant to be haunted. There's meant to be the ghost of a 6-year-old girl who fell down the banister. Very, very Edward Gorey kind of death. And apparently, yeah, she still haunts the place.
Wow.
That was that just brought back memories of because we were there for so long. There was a ton of stuff that we did at that castle.
Mhm.
These guys were amazing, and they were but they had so much to shoot there that you'd kind of but usually you'd have one or two things that you wouldn't get to, and it kind of built up for the last couple of days. And it was so amazing watching these guys because it was such a stressful situation for them where they didn't seem stressed at all, or at least their version of being stressed is just like takes the facade of a super relaxed person who's incredibly confident. But it was so, I mean, that leads into you forget that this was their first movie, like feature-length movie they'd ever made, and this was Maeve's first time being in a movie at all, right?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to me because they did such an amazing job of directing. Maeve is such an amazing, star of this movie. Carries this whole thing on her shoulders. It was pretty.
And I mentored you as well, Will.
What?
I mentored you. I was like your mentor, and he would come to me. What should I have for breakfast? What will I say to Mike? And how do I learn my lines? He was so nervous and farting the whole time.
What's your trick for learning lines, Maeve? Do you have a secret for learning lines, or do you not learn them at all? You just roll into a situation.
Well, didn't you say, Will, that you learn them sometimes when you're on the treadmill?
Yes.
That's the only trick I've ever heard. I read once that Michael Fassbender reads the script 300 times and somehow then that just like sinks into his brain. But those are the only two tricks I know.
The whole script 300 times?
Yeah. He learns everybody's lines as far as I know. That's why if you look at him, he's sometimes mouthing along with the other actor when they're...
Shut up. Is he really?
I want Michael Fassbender to do a Kevin Costner script.
Oh, now you're speaking my language, baby.
Yeah, that'd be a long script to read 300 times.
You had to remake one Costner movie with him. What would it be?
Oh my God, that's actually such a good question. Maybe Field of Dreams, but it would be like hurling.
That's good. Yeah, I like it.
Or I actually think that would be really good. Or else, like I said, I've only started working my way through Costner's body. So
That's so funny that you say that, because in Ireland that makes a lot of sense to people, but like in the United States, if anybody is listening and is hearing, you want to make Field of Dreams, but with hurling, it seems to them like you're talking about vomiting.
Yeah, probably was.
No, it's the sport of hurling. But I think Michael Fassbender as well, his whole trick is like he can get really skinny really quick or whatever. That's like one of the things he does, like for shame and for hunger. Like that's kind of like his thing that he shows off with. So maybe I'd put him in.
That's the element of the movie Shame that I've always heard about him. That's the one.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's better that you did.
That just made me think of Christian Bale in the is it called The Machinist?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Skinny that. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah. I bet that him and Michael Fassbender were like on the phone every night being like, whatever you do, don't touch the almonds or whatever, like dieting together. They were just like, ignore all the body positive. We've got to get these pounds off. So anyway, hey, did anybody have any questions for us, Erik?
Yeah, a few people what movies? They're a little on topic. Some just questions about how you're living in quarantine. Maeve, you've definitely answered this question, but what movies are you watching in quarantine? So, Will, Mike, are you guys watching anything?
You know what I just saw the other night? Well, movie-wise, I just watched UHF, the weird.
I love UHF.
Oh my God, I had never seen it before, and I got to meet him through this charity thing it's called the Big Slick for Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City, and so he's a delightful, wonderful person, and I've always thought he was so funny. So I watched UHF the other night. Oh, it's so good.
The Weird Al Yankovic movie.
You guys get there's a Michael Jordan documentary that's big out here in the States. ESPN, that's amazing. So I'm
there's an ESPN one and a Netflix one, or are they the same?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I've just been watching it off ESPN.
Okay, I think there's two.
Oh, okay.
There's two Michael Jordans. There's another Michael Jordan.
There's two Michael Jordans. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Documentaries.
He was a shoemaker.
One for each.
Mike, you been watching anything?
I've been mostly watching shorter things, and I'd only seen odd episodes of Broad City, so I went back to the start of Broad City and started watching it, and it's fucking really funny. I didn't realize how amazing it is. Like, so funny and so goofy. Like, the ones I'd seen, I think, were just really random, and I really liked it, but like, kind of watching it from the start is amazing because you really just get to know them really well from the start, and then I'm just completely in love with both of them now. I think it's great.
By the way, I have to tell you, one of the people that had emailed me was Lucia Aniello, who's one of the Broad City directors. She's like so she watched Extraordinary and loved it. So that's great. You guys should meet each other, because she had said, "I love those guys. I've been trying to say hello and just tell them how much I loved it." So I'll have to.
Oh wow! Maybe she got tired. She might be that tired working with women.
Who?
Maybe she got tired. Lucia, this director, she got tired of working with women. I'd say it was tough, and I would say you're dead right. Work with just men. I've always said that.
Especially
you know that.
Can you guys see this photo that someone just submitted on? Is it coming up on the screen or no? I'm trying to figure out how I can put it in here, but.
Can we do the open conversation or something?
Oh yeah, I'll send it to the text thread. Where's that at? I don't know how to do this. I have no idea.
You could do share screen, could you?
Well,
Erik,
I don't know.
Could you do share screen?
I'm just gonna send it to. There it is. Do you guys see this right here?
Oh, the picture from Shame. Oh yeah.
Did it come through?
Yeah,
oh my god!
You and Costner.
You and Cosner look really good. That's really nice.
Oh, shut up! It's
Maeve,
that was private.
Maeve, I might movie with Kevin Costner and you in mind. Will you be in it?
Mike, okay. Now you're asking me on the spot.
Yeah, you're basically a princess of Ireland, aren't you? National treasure.
Oh my god!
So
I'm so excited to hear from him.
I do have another.
Funny, Mike. That oh no. Will.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I pressed an emoji.
I'm jealous. I want one.
It's really good.
Sorry, hope that was.
You know what's funny? Like, I'm staying here with my parents, and I was like, I'd love to clean up after dinner, but I've got to do a work call, and this is my work call.
That's good.
My poor parents in their 60s.
I'm staying with my parents too right now.
What is it like in Ireland? Is it is there a lot of isolation, quarantining, and stuff, or
Yeah, they just said they're going to open up like next month, slowly, kind of. But I think people are being pretty good about it. I don't know. I mean, it's such a tiny country. Will, it's like 4.5 million people in the Republic of Ireland, so it's like it's like quarter the size of New York or something. Well, actually, I don't know, but
is there like
small,
a lot of testing? What's your testing situation like?
Pretty good.
We're all HIV positive, so that was a sad part.
I mean, I should.
We don't know about.
Not.
So that was upsetting, but we don't know about Corona.
What emoji should I do for
the plus sign, maybe? Yeah. Oh, that's really meaningful. Thank you, Will. What have you been tested for, everybody else? What else have you been tested for?
In my life?
Yeah. College exams. Not the COVID. I'm in Ohio right now, and there's no drive-throughs. There's nothing that I've seen anyway. Like they're doing now in Los Angeles, you can go get tested just through like a drive-through.
But sorry to change. But isn't there also drive-through movies?
Yeah, there's people doing drive-in movies right now. Yeah, it's kind of like coming back right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, so we've actually discussed doing Extraordinary as a drive-in movie. So it's kind of in the works. With the logistics of it, we're figuring out right now. But
that would be so nice, and I will offer personally to go and sit in everybody's car with them.
That's a beautiful idea.
And I'll just be like, "Do you like it? What do you think?"
I have another question.
Maeve, you couldn't go to the drive-in though because you can't drive.
Maeve, how did you
attacking
first meet Mike and Enda, and what was it like working together on the script?
Oh,
oh, look at that light.
I met them. I know, but I don't actually like using it. But I got it because I'm an influencer. But it's too spooky.
I would have just said my halo.
Is my halo. I met them. I actually don't remember the first time we met, but we met when we all lived in Dublin, and I think we just were in the same friends group, kind of. And so that was like many years ago. That was 12 years ago or 13 years ago or something. And then stayed in touch. But then Mike moved to London, and then I moved to New York and stuff. But we always stayed in touch. So I think that's always what I say to people. If you have creative people that you're friends with, and if it's ever possible to make something with them, then that's always going to be fun and good, even if it's like just for you to do. So, because I think sometimes people are like, I want to make something with, for example, Kevin Costner. Now I would be his peer because we're both in show business, but I think it's more realistic to stick to your like people who are around you, and you'll also probably end up making more stuff and having a more fun time as well, I think.
I remember me and Enda made the credits for your very good TV. So Maeve had a TV show that was it was called Fancy Victuals, and it was kind of half cookery show, half stand-up. I don't know if you describe it like that, Maeve. But and it's excellent. Can you see it on YouTube or something, Maeve?
Yeah, you can see it on YouTube. And Mike and Enda made the opening credits for that. So we worked together then, and then I feel like you took photos and stuff as well, and just little things like that.
My favorite one of them was the poster for the one where you were marrying a cat.
Yeah, for one of my Edinburgh shows, I wanted it to look like my cat was proposing to me, so... But like she was really bad-tempered, cranky cat who wouldn't like. It's not like she would just put her paw. I wanted her to be pushing the engagement ring across the table to me, but she was so like she was like an outdoor wild thing. So, but Mike was able to do it. I think eventually you've made like a fake tuxedo for her arm, and then took a picture of her paw and made it look like that.
I just
that was a multi-million-dollar, operation. And we needed drones and everything. But yeah, that was cool.
I remember that it was kind of like a Lady and the Tramp style like dining scene, and this is how I could be wrong, but this is how I remember it. And then I remember that the cat had a fish on its plate in front of it because it was like it was you over dinner, and you hated fish a lot. That's all I remember.
I hate them so much. And then I had a pineapple upside down cake on my plate because I love that. So I hope that was a helpful answer.
It was. Where were you? Were you living in New York, in London, Mike, when you gave her the call and said you had a script, or you guys?
I think the start we were. Oh no, I'm not. I think we were still in Dublin when we started writing the first draft, and then Maeve was living actually in London, but we would meet up a little bit about it along the way, and then email and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we were kind of in touch every, not every day or anything, but every few months or something, and we would show Maeve drafts of it along the way, and going, this still exists. We still want to do this.
Yeah. And I think, as you know, if you're doing, and Will knows, it can take a really long time for something to happen. So we were delighted and lucky that it did happen. But I think it's because the lads kept going and kept on. We made a little tiny snippet of it, like a 3 or 4 minute version years ago. And then that helped to get more funding. And then that helped to, ask, after when we were asking Will if he would consider it, then we could send him that and send him a script that was like, that Mike and Enda had made it as good as at the best. They did the best they could, really, God love them. And so, but yeah, it takes ages. It takes a long time.
It was
how did you guys get that to Will? Did you know each other? Was there mutual connections between everyone, or had you worked together before on anything?
I met Maeve in New York a couple of years ago through Kristen Shaw when we were out there for the upfronts one year. We went to dinner, but that was about it. Yeah.
So we were lucky because I suppose at least then if you knew, Kristen, it's not a total nut job. Little did you know.
Yeah.
But there's lots of lucky things happened, I think, with this film. And, luckiest of all now, everyone's trapped in their homes and they have to watch it.
It's so perfect. I have another question. What are some ordinary hauntings that didn't make it into the movie?
There was a few. We had extra scenes around the montage scene, which was kind of like the bit where Rosa Martin kind of solved loads of hauntings in a row. We had a scene with like a band, and I think they had done a Ouija board or something, and they were like a local death metal band. They were all kids, but I think the lead singer was just pretending that he was haunted. And then we had a funny one with a kid who had like
eating all the ice cream.
Yeah, his ice cream used to keep disappearing. The mom called him because the ice cream used to keep disappearing from the fridge, and she was like a ghost eating it, and then it kind of cut to the kids, and he was like, "Don't tell them." It was more. We had loads of ideas for ones, but we had to kind of make sure we had enough time to shoot them all, so we kind of cut a few before we actually even shot. So there was nothing in. Pretty much everything that we shot is in the movie, to be honest.
I have another question. Will, did you like being movie married to Claudia O'Doherty?
She is fantastic. She, I had never met her before, but she's also a friend of Kristen Shaw's. So So Kristen said, "You already know Maeve, but be on the lookout for my friend Claudia too." And because we were married, we basically would be in almost every scene together. I think there was maybe one scene that I was in that she wasn't, and we'd have the same schedule. So we several days we'd have off, and we'd go hang out and walk around the grounds of the hotel. We were staying very it was so awesome. We went to this place that was had both Chinese and Thai food. And so we go and just, we're going Thai today, and today we're going Chinese, and then some days she'd go Chinese and I'd go Thai, or vice versa. But we got to hang out and get to know each other, and she's fantastic. So it was really, really fun to get to act with her. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. What are the chances of an extraordinary sequel?
I've been making one on my iPhone. Surprise! So I've moved ahead with the project, you know, on my own, and my family, and around here there's lots of, you got horses, cows, you know. So yeah, I'm working away on the sequel now.
Oh, great. Do you think that
There
you'll
you go.
involve Mike and Enda at any point, or I don't know? Maybe.
I don't think so.
We're
I
going
don't
to be
think so.
we're going to be the stars this time. She's directing.
Oh wow, yeah. It's the story about the garbage.
It was their
bag.
first time, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
I
god.
think it's a good time. I've got a new Sharpie holder. Will I show you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my god.
No, I know it's quite rude, but it's cool.
There's some.
It's actually a vase. To put a rose in there, but you know, there's no flowers around at this time.
Oh my god.
I think Maeve left you, so
Maeve,
shocked.
we lost your video, or is it just too offensive?
Sorry, I'm here. I was just looking for how to do emojis. It's like so.
If you guys could,
It's where the heart thing is. You see where the throbbing heart is?
Yeah, do you get that?
oh yeah, I got
You
it.
put your cursor over that.
Okay. Oh, I'm so jealous.
If you could
Okay,
all
well,
get
I'm
together
gonna-
again to make a movie, what would it be about? That's an interesting question.
Honestly,
I would say-
Kevin Costner's career.
Kevin Costner's career,
A documentary about Kevin Costner.
documentary about Kevin Costner.
With reenactments, but Will is playing Kevin Costner. How about that?
Yes.
Wow. This is the pitch meeting.
Will, what would your movie be?
What?
What movie do you want to make? A remake?
I mean, that all sounds good to me. That sounds very good to me.
Yeah.
Anything Costner related.
Well, the cool thing about this is we'd get to remake lots of different Kevin Costner, like just snippets from his life. So it'd be lots of little parts of the movie, like from his repertoire. So Will would get to wear the weird fins and be Waterworld guy.
Yeah. I
then-
probably would be the mailman.
Yeah.
I'd probably play the mailman.
What's there's one is the Perfect Day one of his?
One Fine Day.
Oh.
That's good, I think. Is that Tony
I don't
Scott?
know. Come back to me in about 3 weeks. But anyway,
You should do a blog about it.
Another one. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
Who's going first?
I guess I'll go first because I don't know. Sure, why not? What do I don't not believe in them. I'm not gonna ever say that I know all there know in the universe. So what do I know? Maybe there are. I'm not gonna not believe in them. But it doesn't mean that I believe in them. I'm just open to the possibility of them.
What?
what do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
I kind of would like to believe in ghosts, but I don't think I do because I haven't. Well, if I, I'm open to the fact they might exist, but I haven't seen any. So at the moment, no.
You are so fucked now because you are just inviting phantasms into your life. That's like oh, you don't, huh? Okay, we'll show you.
I like the idea of. I was reading about like the idea of a place that places record events somehow. Like so, basically, if a really bad thing happens in a certain place, that the environment or the geography of that place. It records the atmosphere and stuff, and I think that sort of idea is cool.
I've never heard that. That's interesting.
So when you get a spooky feeling walking in somewhere, it's sort of almost like a recording of an event or eerie, and it happens to good and bad things. So you can have a good feeling in some places and a bad feeling in some places. So I like that idea rather than the idea of a dead person who's, kind of roaming the world, being very sad and trying to get into the next world or whatever.
Mm. Like in some city in Australia, the Dalai Lama won't go near it. He's like, no thanks, really bad energy there.
Yeah, that vibe. I'm basically the Dalai Lama.
He is. Mike is basically the Dalai Lama. He's like an older version of the Dalai Lama.
Well, I have one last question. What's next? What's next for each of you coming out of all of this?
And I'm going to watch The Untouchables tomorrow.
I'm going to watch The Untouchables tomorrow now.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Will, are you going to watch The Untouchables tomorrow?
Untouchables is one of the great movies of all time. I had forgotten about that one. That probably is my favorite Costner movie.
They pull a knife, you pull a gun. They send one of your men to the hospital, you send one of them into the morgue.
To the morgue.
What?
You send one of them to the morgue.
I saw Sean Connery on a bicycle.
Did you? When?
Yeah.
He was cycling.
Yeah, we made a commercial in the Bahamas for the lottery, and he lives in the Bahamas, and we were looking for locations, and he was cycling along the road on one of those bikes with small wheels. And I got them to pull the car in so I could take a photo on my phone, just because I was like, he's never going to ever see me again. And he knew I was doing it, so he like went up a kind of driveway really fast.
Oh
when
was?
So I basically popped Sean Connery. It would have been 2000. It would have been 2012 or 13.
Wow.
He must be 80 by now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking it up. Right now, in answer to your question, I am writing. We're trying to get a MacGruber TV series going, so I'm writing that with my buddies Jorma Taccone and John Solomon. So that's been taking up all my time recently.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're.
Maeve, do you think you're going to want to work again, or just maybe watch Kevin Costner's movies for the rest of your days?
I think.
I think the people want to know, what is Maeve going to do next?
I'm writing, all writing away. So you could read my writing anywhere, but we can't do any acting or anything because of quarantine.
Nothing. Right.
So we just have to wait and see.
Kevin, sorry. I'm looking at
Kevin Costner is 64.
I looked up Sean. He's 64.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Connery is 89.
Oh my god!
If he was on a bike, he would have been 81. Fucking hell, that's pretty good.
Crazy. Wait, I'm looking up.
You recognized him, like he looks like himself and everything.
Yeah, he had pretty short shorts on as well. Good man.
That's how he can keep. That's why he's got it. That's how he keeps it.
Or as he would say, short. I can't do it.
Oh wow, Clint Eastwood is 89 as well. They're within like 3 months of each other's age, and Clint Eastwood is about 3 weeks away from being 90.
Oh, hopefully he'll stop making bloody films. So
I think he has another one coming out.
Well,
I have to say the other it was before restaurants closed down and everything. But we had a meeting with Lorne Michaels for MacGruber. This would have been, 2.5 months ago. And so we meet up. It's Lorne and Maya Rudolph came to the dinner too. We walk in, and there is Clint Eastwood sitting with his family eating dinner, and that was super exciting. And then all of a sudden, Eric Idle walks by.
Oh my God.
This is crazy. And then we look over. There's Ringo Starr. Ringo Starr's in the same. I'm like, what is going on? I knew going to Planet Hollywood was going to Okay. And then we're hanging around. Larry King wheels by.
No way.
Yeah.
Wheels by.
Wow.
Will, were you having dinner at the Waxworks Museum? Donley was there.
So exciting! It was very exciting. It was some place I had never. I think this is the kind of place that Lorne Michaels goes all the time because he just goes to nice restaurants.
Oh my god!
I had never heard of this place. It was just this really nice Italian place in downtown Los Angeles. Not downtown.
And was the food all made out of like famous movie animals? Like you had like Free Willy burgers and stuff.
Yeah, it was like that movie, The Freshman. Komodo dragons and stuff like that.
Well, Erik, thank you so much for having us, and thanks for organizing the movie, and to everybody for watching it. It's so nice to get messages still about it.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's an incredible movie. Thank you guys for making an incredible movie. Good luck with everything that you're doing, and let's do another one of these again soon.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that would be
say hi to your parents.
Bye.
Bye. Well, yeah, you too. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Talk to you
Happy
later.
early 90th to Clint Eastwood.
Happy birthday. Let's do one on his birthday.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.